Welcome back to the channel, guys. Another episode on the G60. Now we need to start. Now we have our back wall placement finalised, even though this needs to be altered still. I can work out final dimensions of my sill. I can work out how I'm finishing sill to quarters and A-pillar. And then we can start to actually get some structure back together, which will be great because that means we're moving forward. The last video, it was a bit of a, just an explanation on an issue with my steering and seat. If you haven't seen it and you're interested, go back and have a look. It was the last episode. I've since been in contact with the engineer and we've come up with a bloody good plan, which shouldn't really affect too much more. So I'll go through that probably in a different video, but today we're going to strip quarter off, which is not a big deal, pull the door off and start to work out where and the alterations of my sill are going to be. I'm going to alter the front, a bit of rework, but it'll be a nicer finish in the end. Because I'm going to run my quarter panel down, so this will just be, that's why I've lengthened this, you would have seen in a previous video, hence why that's sitting up higher. So the quarter panel, it will appear that the sill will finish here and the quarter will wrap around and merge into the sill, but it will just be flat sheet. You won't see any of this actual sill. A little bit of work to do because I'm about 25 short of, I just need to extend a little bit of sill, basically. That was a 1200 sheet and I thought that was going to be heaps, but it was 25 mil short. Murphy's Law. But because that's how I want to finish this at the back, I also want to do the same as the front. So I need to extend this anyway, like 5 mil, but I'm going to extend that the same. I'm going to cut this out and step that back. So this will run down and the skin of that A-pillar will sit flush with this. I'll show you as I go how I'm doing that. So yeah, let's get into it. We'll start stripping some things off. I need to pull guard off, door off. Door comes off pretty easy. Just in a minute, baby. Yeah. Might leave the Shillman in there for now, but yeah, you can probably see my issue here if you haven't seen the previous video. But we're going to leave that steering column factory length and push everything back in the firewall, which will fix multiple issues. But like I said, I'm getting sidetracked here. That is a story for another day. So I'm just working out my measurements here, pretty critical, millimeter perfect sort of shit, hence why I'm using a scribe. That is where that A-pillar skin will come down, and this I'll put a little mark there because there's multiple lines, and this is where the rear quarter will come down. So I'll also have to adjust this as well. I thought I was getting ahead of the game back some time ago when I cut this out for my B-pillar or door jamb piece to link that in. So I'll dolly that up and stitch it in, and then this will have to flow back and curve up here. Not a major. Yeah, it's definitely for the better, I think. So we can strip, maybe I could probably mark this around also. The best I can really do here is hold that and sort of scribe it. My whole quarter needs to come down 113. So we can mark that from here, 113. Is where that will get cut to. Nice, nice. All right, we'll pull that off. We can cut that out. The idea is to get everything prepped so this will be the final piece to go on. So I want to have effectively that inside radius is what I want to have here. So I have an enclosed sill, semi-enclosed, like there's always, you never have a completely concealed panel. You always need to have drain holes. You never have anything that's an actual, like a vessel, as far as I'm aware. So sills, you look under your car, there's actually drain holes in them. So like I was saying, I want to have that, so then when I finally go to finish this and put this skin on to finish it, there will just be spot welds to hold that on. So there'll be spot welds down here around that radius onto the radius of the sill. It'll make sense when I get to it, but for the meantime, we've got to scribe that in to a degree. So yeah, we'll rip it apart. Okay, now, so I've got that roughly where I think I need it. I'll put that panel back on. Now this will all get cut out here and set back 1 millimeter to account for 1 millimeter of the skin. Then it will sit flush with that. But I just need to make sure my radius is starting to get close, and then we can fine tune it by coming behind it. Same with this bottom. Now that I can get it down to it, we can sort of mark that a little bit better. So now with that panel sitting over it, we still need to come down another 50 or so, whatever the height difference is there, which looks about right. We can sort of, I'm still not at my mark here. Oh, well, we're running away. Still need another 5-ish mil, which is good. If I cut that off about there, while I'm at it, I'll get a bit of a crude mark down here as well. But at the moment, now it's a bit of back and forth, and I didn't bother filming it because it would have been painful to watch and unnecessary. I've had to, after I added that extra 25 mil, I had to get that radius to match the outer skin. Now I'm going to fill that in with sheet metal, and it will sit 1 mil below this. So by the time the skin goes over that, it'll sit flush with the outer of the sill, which will look really nice. But yeah, it was just a bit of back and forth, describing it, pull it off, buff it back, pull it back on, put the skin back on, scribe it again until I was happy with it. So, you know, 6 or 7 times on and off until it's just nice. And now I need to get my sheet. I've already gilloed that off, so get my sheet, get that radius on it kind of pretty good, and then tack that all in there with that 1 mil offset to this. So yeah, let's get into doing that. I'm just gonna see if I can, I've got plenty of extra material here so I can play around with it, but I'm just gonna hold that and see if I can bend that around that radius. Get it started. It's better. That's not bad. So now, with that sitting there, I'll flip this over. All right, we've got our mark there. I'll cut that out quickly. And this is what we've come up with, which is pretty nice. I can work along that and tack it all up. Tickety boo. Now, we might just go straight in and do that. Clean a bit of the primer off. Pretty happy with that. I've just test fitted it, made sure that wraparound's nice on the skin. So I'm going to run through and weld that off. Okay, after yesterday got pretty warm in here, so I got the rear end done, which I'm pretty happy with. In fact, I'm happier with this side than I am the other side. I just need to scribe that bottom. It's going to be a few hours of power in here because it's fucking hot today. I think it's going to be 41, so yes, I'd like to get this sill finished. So scribe that back side of that. Cut that, and then we'll just alter this front, which is cutting the front off and basically doing the same thing, just doesn't have that radius, so it's a fair bit easier. I've actually done that side already. I just went ahead and did it, so I wasn't sort of working out stuff as I'm filming. It's just quicker and easier to do the first side with my own brain, and then I know what I'm doing on the second side a bit more, so it's a bit quicker and less painful for people to watch. So yeah, I'll scribe this. Now I sort of want it, well, I don't sort of want it. It needs to be the same as the other side as far as how far down the sill comes, so I have taken that into consideration. Now that should technically be square until that radius starts and it swoops around. Looks kind of cool actually. Take that off. Now we should have a nice scribe line there. Hopefully it's not too early on a Sunday morning to wake the neighbours with a grinder. Yeah, that's quite nice, Nico, quite nice. Pretty stoked with that. It's funny how you evolve and you want to redo work that you did previously, but I guess that's a good thing. If I was getting worse, I probably wouldn't be doing this job. It kind of makes me want to redo that side a little bit.